How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So this video then is going to be very informative. It is all about the sort of career structure within the army, in particular the infantry. There's been a lot of questions asked about it, reference it, what it might look like, what's the longevity of a career, people who maybe are not wanting to come in for a few years, they're maybe looking at their sort of their different options before committing to service, and wanting to know what a career could look like, promotion rates, all that sort of stuff. So that's what we're going to cover in today. Right, so infantry. First off then, you're going to come out of training and you're going to be the rank off, you're going to get it when you're in there, it's ranger. So as a ranger then, you can spend a minimum time there of 2 years. Not going to discuss what their role is because it's being a soldier. You've seen all the videos, if you haven't, flick back into it, the playlist, doing the business, and that you'll see all the sort of bits and pieces there of what a ranger will get up to. So 2 years there is the minimum you can do. Obviously, there's people that will do it longer. I myself was long, I think about 4-ish years, I think it was. But there has people who's done it in as short as 2 years. So I'm now going to talk to you about the quickest way possible because the people who are messaging me seem quite keen. Right, so 2 years, you're in there and then you're going to get selected for it. How you get selected for it is just being mega keen, not being a DS watcher. What I mean by DS watcher is like, how do you... like a brown nose or the teacher's pet back in school. That don't be that type of person, because that just goes the opposite direction for you. This is not a competition. You got to remember, one day you're going to be in operations with all the people around you, so there is healthy competition, but there's not throwing each other under the bus competition, because at the end of the day, you're going to go in operations and you're going to have to trust each other, be behind each other's back, going through doors and all that sort of stuff. And if you do any of that kind of nonsense back here, then all that sort of trust goes out the window whenever you leave the UK to go do business. So do not be that kind of stuff. Sorry, do not do that kind of stuff. Just be your normal person and give your graft in, and that'll get noticed. So after that then you will go to the training wing. So within your battalion now, remember all the sort of different companies that were within a regiment. To keep it easier, I'm going to just keep it my own. So the battalion then, you'll have all these different companies. Each company commander or company headquarters will select their rangers who are eligible and think they're good enough to go on that route. So they will then bulk together and go off to the training wing, which deals with all training, funny enough, but all the sort of pre-courses for courses and sort of beat-ups for operations and all that sort of stuff. Your training wing will deal with that. They'll run their own mini course, so you'll all be together competitively. They'll say, yes, Ranger X, Ranger B, they're good to go, they're fit enough, they've got the qualities there to become the leader, all the sort of little different bits and pieces that they're looking at. Get you all together, and then on our instance then you'll head up to Edinburgh to do your 6 weeks course, which is IS2IC Carter, so infantry section 2IC course, I think. Long yeah, NCO Carter is what it used to be called. Anyway, you'll go up there because we are in a division with the Scots battalions, so the 4 battalions of them and the 2 Royal Welsh battalions, and then ourselves. So all their candidates from the Royal Welsh and all their candidates from all the Scottish battalions will all group together into one big course, and then you go to Edinburgh and conduct that course. Obviously, you're on the course now, so you're competitive not now to promote, you're just competitive on getting the best course report you can do. But like I'm saying, it's not about being competitive and throwing loads of people on their bus, because what this is your first shot at leadership. They will be looking at how you are mentoring and leading your peer group, because if you can mentor and help your own peer group, then you're obviously going to be able to do it to people below you. But if you're just that person who's just throwing people under the bus as much as you can, if there's any instructor there, you're sort of doing things there where you can see, that will have the total opposite effect and not go well in your favour. You may potentially will still pass the course, but you're going to lose that respect. Remember, you've got to keep the respect of everyone else as well, because when you go on operations, that's what you just need to be, that team together. All these courses and all that sort of stuff, it's all good and well when you're here, but you need to think about the actual real thing, what we're actually all here to do, which is deploy on operations and exercise. So the trust is there. Right, enough. You're going to go there, you're going to teach you how to, give you the tools to become a leader. You're going to also learn all other little bits and pieces about the administration of a section, which is that small sort of team in the infantry, and you'll do a little bit of range work, so how to coach people. So you will already be all over your weapon system and how to fire it properly and all that sort of stuff, because you're that sort of senior ranger as such. But this is now the first sort of exposure to teaching you how to mentor people. So when they're shooting's poor or that kind of stuff, all the sort of different tricks and techniques to get the best out of people, That's all going to be learned up there, and some CLM up there as well, which is a sort of education piece. Now, back in the day, infantry just munched on crayons all the time, and that was it. Now, we're in the 21st century, you got to do education the whole way for each rank structure to get the promotion side of thing. Not too much at the lance corporal sort of areas, but definitely when you start hitting corporal and sergeant, you need to have the sort of function, English and maths and stuff level 2, which I believe is like the equivalent to GCSE C. Do not sit there now flapping. You'll just be like me and have to go on a flipping school course and pull your absolute hair out because you haven't been in the education system for about 10 years. So if anyone is watching this now, do not just pull the pin and just throw all your education behind you. If you can do it now and smash it out before you come to infantry, it will make your life so much easier when it comes to all that promotion stuff. But if not, do not worry, the course is there, and it's only a 2 week for maths and 2 week for English, but it is nails if you're like this. Right, anyway, so you'll do that in your course, come back to your battalion, and then you'll promote to Lance Corporal, and then that's you. You've been given all the tools, and that's you off into your first step, the leadership role, and to go do the business. Right, okay, after that then, you can also then, that is a 2-year minimum there as well, and then you're off to be a corporal. Same stuff with Lance Corporal being about selected and the competitiveness and all that sort of stuff. In your training wing, do all the pre-courses. Then instead of going to Edinburgh, you go down to Brecon, and instead of just being with the Scots and the Welsh and all that sort of stuff, I am focusing on them. But you know, rifles, paras, they'll all have their own private to Lance Corporal courses. This one then, when you go down to Brecon in Wales, nice sunny Brecon in Wales, this is your first, you know, major external course where all the infanteers are coming from the whole of infantry onto this. So your first one is divisional. This one now, everyone from the infantry is there. Also, we'll wait for that. So you'll go there and you'll smash that out. Okay, that's cut in 2 halves. First half then is teaching you how to be an instructor, so how to teach people. You know, Lance Corporal is about mentoring. This is now actually like teaching people. Now, that is all the weapon systems that are currently in use in the infantry. You will go through every single one of them, all the different lessons on them, so you can qualify anyone how to use that, both how to get ready to fire it plus firing it. You'll also then learn how to plan ranges, so static ranges. So if you're standing on a point doing all your sort of static firing, you can plan and conduct them ranges, and all that's done in the first half of the course. Second half of the course then is tactics, the most fun part. So that is where you're out of the sort of camp all the time, you're living out in the field, everything you think of an infanteer, that's what you're doing there. That is instructed by infantry colour sergeants from across the whole of the infantry, and that is teaching you then how to be that commander, reconnaissance patrols, you know, how to defend buildings, how to defend wood blocks, you know, attacks, different ways on how to attack things, different ways how to plan an attack, different ways how to also plan how to brief people in a specific way, because we brief people in a specific way in the army. So all that sort of stuff under a little bit of no sleep and stress and a little bit empty stomach, but it's a rite of passage for all infanteers. Beam a course, big sense of achievement once you've done that. Once you've done that, back you come to battalion. Now you're a corporal, and then you are free then to mentor that eight section you've got of infanteers. You know, feed information into the platoon commander, and you're now the trainer in the battalion. So you know, the officers and like sergeants and stuff will suggest what training's going to be and will facilitate you to train it. But the section commander, I'm telling you hands down now, it's probably the best job in the infantry. Yeah, it's just ally. That's just it. So that's what you are there. Okay, this one now then, you have to spend a minimum of 4 years. So the other two then, there isn't really a sort of you have to do this amount of years. It just goes on merit as such. But this one now, so corporal, you have to, doesn't matter how good or what, you know, if you're flipping whatever you are, you have to spend the 4 years there. You also then, when I was discussing about education, you need to have your level 2 maths and English. So you haven't got it, this is the time now, these 4 years, to start getting that in order. And then you'll obviously have your 4 reports as well. And then you got to have the qualifying course, which is Senior Brecon. There is other courses you can do in infantry, like you heard me talking about all the specialist trades in previous videos, but to make this as fast as possible as video, and just do this one route. So it's the Platoon Sergeant's Battle Course, and that's back down to sunny Brecon again, and that is about 10, 11, 12-ish weeks. The only difference is the first half is now tactics, so that's your 7 weeks. So everything you learned down in juniors, so as a corporal, it's now on a bigger scale. So if you imagine you're down there as a corporal, you're learning how to plan, brief, and then deliver attack with your 8 sort of infanteers. This time now, you're doing it as the officer's role. Because as a sergeant then, you potentially could slot into there if he's not there, or he or she is not there for whatever reason. You need to fill that, so you need to know that job. So seniors then is teaching you how to be a platoon sergeant, so how to administrate the whole platoon, how to do casualties, all that sort of stuff. And then it's also then teaching you about the officer, how to plan a mission, how to then note for a platoon, so a bigger scale, how to then brief your whole platoon, and then how to take your whole platoon out when they're tired, hungry, wet, all the rest of it, and deliver what you've planned and what you've briefed. So that's all the tactics. That is the best course ever. I'm telling you right now, I was really not wanting to go down there at a stage. When I finally went down, honestly, there wasn't one time where I physically, honestly, now I say, right, I can't wait, this is over. Obviously, it's very, very tiring. It's wet, it's crappy conditions, but the actual course was gleaming. Because at this stage of your career now, everyone on the course with you, they all want to be there. So they will all be of positive people. They will all have all vast amounts of different experience. And there's guys who come in there from the sort of special forces units to do that course. You know, you're going to have people who are on different roles from you. They will feed in all their different experiences, and it's a really good learning experience. And you meet some really gleaming people on that course itself, right? Enough of seniors being too biased with it because it's the most freshest one in my mind, right? Smash that out. Back to your battalion again, and now you're a platoon sergeant, so the responsibility has got a little bit higher, and you're now responsible then for 30 soldiers, 31 plus your platoon commander, and you will manage that platoon. You'll be the senior soldier in that platoon. Think of it that way, right? 3-4 years I think as that there in that rank. Then after that, then it's colour sergeant. Now you'll be happy to know then seniors, then that's the last sort of arduous course you need to do. If you're not going to go on any of the specialist routes, you could become a colour sergeant then. What that then opens you back up to then is being an instructor. So you can either go back to Brecon and instruct in the corporal's course and the sergeant's course, or the officer's course. So when they come to do their courses, so that's in Brecon. You either go to Sandhurst and become a instructor there. So that's, if you imagine what Catrick is for soldiers going week 1, day 1, Sandhurst is the same, but for officers. So they'll come in as a civilian week 1, day 1, and then they'll pump out at the very end of the system, and they're a platoon commander. So the officer, you can go there. You can go down to other places throughout the army. The higher you go up the ranks, infantry, the vast amount of E-postings are called. So you're not transferring regiment or nothing. You still keep your headdress. You're still a part of your regiment, but you can go away to these different sort of foreign. They can be foreign postings into different countries for a couple of years, or in the UK itself, doing whatever different bits and pieces of roles. So there is loads of responsibilities there. So responsibilities, obviously, but obviously opportunities is what I'm trying to say. Boom, right. Time there served is 3 or 4 years as well, I think. Then it's WO2 sergeant, so that's your sergeant major. So senior role in your company. So if you imagine your platoon, you got platoon sergeant, platoon commander, the sergeant major, and you've got 3 of them platoons in a company. Then you've got your sergeant major and your OC. OC is a major, and the sergeant major, which we're discussing. WO2 is now you, and you're now in charge of that company, and you advise the OC. So everything you're doing as platoon at a smaller level, it's now on a bigger scale. On operations, as with WO2, you can be responsible for up to 120 people on operations. So that's everyone from, the chefs, the REMI are coming attached to you, intelligence cell, artillery, every little thing that you can think of the army that comes together to form that big body to go out and do the strike stuff. You're now responsible for that. So there you go. Right, after that then it is Officer Class 1, which is your RSM, so your Regimental Sergeant Major. Excuse me. So you think about it then, the Sergeant Major, WO2, is a senior soldier in the company with the OC. Bigger scale then, you've got the RSM, which is at WO1, and then the Commanding Officer, which is a Lieutenant Colonel. They are in charge of, he is in charge of the whole battalion, and then you're supporting him. So you're at senior soldier within your battalion. And then that's you, job done. Throw the boots up into the wall, 22 years done, flipping, pension in the back pocket, big lump sum, disappear off to Dubai and sort of drink champagne and do whatever else. And while I've got time, even though we've topped out with the career ladder, we're talking about the sort of benefits then. This is the only one I'll discuss. All loads of other different benefits within the army and financial ones, but the main one I'm going to focus on here is the Forces Help to Buy. So it's a scheme that the army have done where you can get up to half your annual income. The army will give you that for a deposit on the house. So for instance, if you're getting paid £30,000 a year, you can apply and get £15,000 off the army. Anything up to £10,000 is interest free. Anything from £10,000 and above, you will pay interest on it, but it's a tiny little bit of interest. not as much interest as what you'll pay on the Main Street Bank. You will then pay that back straight away if you want to, or whenever you have 10 years left of service. So for instance, for an example, for me, if I took it 3 years ago, I could decide not to start paying it back and have 3 years of not paying it, but then I would have to start paying it now, 2020, because I've now got 10 years left of service. If you take it, and for instance, you turn around 5 years later and think, right, I don't want to be in the army anymore, happy days, you'll pay it back. And if you've passed the sort of 12, so you've got your 12-year mark, you're entitled to a half pension, a 12-year pension, which is half pension, which is 10 to 12 grand tax-free. So that there, you just use that then to pay the army back for that if you had borrowed it. But anyway, what the thing I'm getting at is, if you've got that Forces Help to Buy at an early stage and you're just paying that off the whole way up for your career, by the time you get out, you've the flipping 75%, off a mortgage paid off. The lump sum you get then, you're now mortgage free at 40 years old or earlier. So that's a little benefit there to have. There are obviously a lot more other benefits with to do with pay scales and all that, and I didn't touch on all the pay scales for each rank, just for a specific reason, and this as long as it is already, and I don't really make it even longer. Right, that was as informative as it could get. Please, if you have got any more questions, and if you didn't understand anything, or sort of stuff you're still sort of need to ask questions about, drop it down in the comment section. And if not, remember Instagram, come across over to there onto the direct mail privately, and I can answer any questions. Please bear in mind, I am not a clerk, so any specific sort of wage stuff, I can't really answer. If it's to do with sergeants, corporals, and lance, I can give you a good idea because I've experienced it. All that sort of stuff way off on there, I don't really know yet. You can't access it on the sort of civilian stuff either. So yes, please bear with me. But anyway, long one, maybe not as sexy as a video that everyone else would expect and want to, but hopefully anyone who's worried about career structure, there you go. You've got it. You've got the sort of the financial support there. You've got the education as you're ticking off all the way through, and everything else. And if you liked the video, please remember, like and subscribe. And if you didn't know, my name is Luke, and I will see you again on the next video.